The police officer locked himself in the deepest cell and threw the key out the next second. When his colleagues came in, they found that he was staring blankly at the window. He told the police officer not to do anything stupid. As a result, the police officer still said what he shouldn't have said. "I want to go out." However, none of the people who said this could survive. It turns out that the future world of humans will live underground for 1,500 meters. There is a special rule here. As long as the person who says 2 words out will be forced to go to the ground for a cleaning mission. In the past, people who went to the ground were all poisoned to death by the outside world. But the police officer still said the words of silence without hesitation. It was because of his wife's strange death 3 years ago. That day, his wife shouted in the restaurant that the outside world was actually a picture of birds and flowers. The ruins that everyone saw on the screen were actually pictures that the leader had deliberately modified. Its purpose is to imprison people here and never go out. But when he saw that no one reacted at all, he shouted the words of silence. "I want to go out." In this way, as the police officer's husband, he had to send him to the underground world in person. The people on the ground watched the picture of Ellie going out live. After Ellie walked out of the treasure, she wiped the camera of the treasure with her wool. She was excited and thought that the outside world could finally survive. But she fell to the ground before she left. She couldn't move again. The hope in people's hearts was also destroyed again. However, only the police officer knew that his wife had told him before she left that if the outside world could survive, he would turn around and wipe the camera. So there must be a reason for his death. In order to find out the truth, the police officer also said that he wanted to go out. In this way, the mayor put on a protective suit for him and sent him out. He walked through the long stairs to the underground world. But after the door of the treasure was opened, he was deeply shocked by the outside world. The underground world is really like the birds and flowers that his wife said. There are even birds flying in the air. He desperately wanted the people in the treasure to know the truth. So he desperately turned around and ran to the camera on the ground. He wiped the dust on it with his wool. However, on the big screen of the treasure, it showed the exact opposite picture. What people saw was that the police officer also went to the abandoned area. As the police officer walked his wife's body step by step, he also felt dizzy and dizzy. The police officer suspected that the real poison might be hidden in his isolation suit. So he made a move that no one has ever done before, which is to take off his helmet. But his physical condition was very bad. He fell to the side of his wife without hesitation. The hope of survival outside was destroyed again. And only a woman realized that the police officer must have had a reason to take off his helmet before he died. It turned out that the night before, he brought the police officer to an abandoned cave. When he went in, he found strange patterns and words on the wall. He seemed to have long been attracted to all this. Then, he brought the police officer directly to a platform through the hole. After he turned on the light here, he suddenly saw a huge digging machine here. He guessed that there was an accident during the process of digging down. So the people before him sealed this place with mud. He and the police officer climbed down the ladder along the wall. He took out a camera from the small box and then went forward along the fish line. Finally, he pulled out a bag from behind an iron plate, and it was the hard drive found by the police officer's wife. There was a video of the outside world and the handwritten information when he broke the hard drive. The police officer hurriedly took everything away and burned it, but he was not happy. He laughed and said that if the police officer listened to his wife, he might not die. The moment he heard this, the police officer was furious because his wife has always been his sister. The police officer hesitated. He asked Juliette to keep a low profile because once this thing is known by the management, they will all give up. After that, he took the hard drive and a broken book back. Then he received the news that the police officer was exiled. Then he came to this platform at once. He didn't expect that he hid the channel below the bottom of the police station. He came here to find out the truth. It turned out that the water had already been submerged below. He has always had deep water phobia. He couldn't care so much about such a big thing. He fixed the rope and climbed down slowly with the headlight. Because he was too nervous in the air, the headlight fell directly. He had to hold the dark and touch the water a little bit. When he was about to touch the water surface, the generator above the warehouse suddenly broke down. As the person in charge of the generator, he rushed back at once. He saw that the apprentice was about to go in to repair the elixir and immediately stopped him. He saw that the other party didn't move, but he hit him directly on the bottom. After the generator crisis was solved, the superior found Juliette directly. He blamed him for drinking and drunk for 2 hours. He also scolded and admired his apprentice very much. But he said something very serious at this time. The generator on the treasure has a very serious problem. It must be turned off before it can be completely solved. But the superior said that the generator has never been turned off in the history of the treasure. This will cause tens of thousands of people in the treasure to lose their light. Even if they fall into the dark for 5 minutes, they will cause panic. The superior can't afford this responsibility. Juliette insisted that falling into the short darkness was much better than the generator being completely destroyed and causing the treasure to die. In the end, they were ordered by the superior to continue the simple repair of the generator. At this time, the generator suddenly appeared high pressure, causing the whole basement to shake violently. And by chance, the mayor just came here and found out that the generator had a malfunction. Juliette, who was full of experience, decided to enter the interior of the generator for repair. Fortunately, after Juliette's repair, the generator was successfully restored to normal pressure. And Juliette's normal operation was also recognized by the mayor. The mayor immediately decided to let Juliette inherit the position of police chief and become the new police chief. But I didn't expect Juliette to refuse this request without even thinking about it.